So you've got your transplants ready to go outside, and they're looking good. Now it gets interesting. Now they need to go out to the real world and outside. Well, think about it. Up until now, they've been in the perfect world because they get light and water when they need it. There's no bugs, there's no diseases, there's no strong winds, and they're basically in a, they got it easy. So now they need to go outside, so they have this easy environment here, and now they need to go out here into the tough environment that's outside. So if they do that straight, there's a good chance that they may get damaged or even killed. So, they need to be toughened up. And it's kind of like you're taking them to plant boot camp. It's kind of what it is. So drop and give me 20, soldier. Another thing you need to think about is what you're doing is you're simulating how you can help this. Is you need to simulate as much of the environment outside as you can. So one of those things is wind. So if you get a chance, when you're watering your plants, what you could do is, no, we're not petting them, you're just running your hand along them, and basically you're kind of simulating, them to getting hit by the wind. Plus, if you do this with tomatoes, your hands smell really good. Another way to do that, ladies, get your hair dryers out. Guys, get your fans from your shop. Yeah, that's it. And you can put that near your plants and have that going, and that simulates your wind. So here's the schedule. Hardening off is a process where for several days you gradually acclimate your plants to the outdoor environment. And that means going from no sunlight to full sunlight, and of course certainly trying to have them in an environment where there's no wind to being out where the wind is, hitting them constantly. So this is the schedule that I've come up with. This is kind of a schedule that I've come up with. And for the first 2 to 3 days, you're going to have them out for a really short period of time. So it's going to be 3 or 4 hours. And during this time, very importantly, no direct sunlight. They're going to be totally in the shade. And of course, as much as you can, you're going to be protecting them from the wind. And you can do that with putting a box around it, or just having it in the corner of your yard, or some type of shield that you could put around them to where it minimizes the wind hitting them. And of course, at the end of the day, you will be bringing them in overnight. The next 2 to 3 days after that, you're going to go ahead and put them out again. This time it's going to be for 4 to 8 hours. And this time they finally get a little bit of sunlight. And you want to kind of keep an eye on while you're doing this. And I would say like maybe 1 to 2 hours. And again, wind protection, you do want to have some, but at this point, it's okay if the wind is, starting to, you're not really covering up, blocking a whole lot of the wind as much as you try to do in the first couple of days. And overnight, if you can stick them in your garage or some other location that's cooler than inside, that's the idea here, and now you'll be doing that overnight. And finally, for the last 2 or 3 days, you're going to go ahead and keep them out the entire day. And out of that time, you still will only want to have direct sunlight for maybe 3 or 4 hours. So they're outside the whole day, but you don't want them in the sun the whole day, if that makes sense. You're really only wanting to do it maybe 3 or 4 hours. And that's kind of flexible. If you want to, if you could keep an eye on them, then that's good, because just watch them, and if they're responding well, then you could go ahead and keep them out, a little longer than that. But I'm just thinking, try 3 or 4 hours first. And of course, no wind protection. They're completely open to where the wind's hitting them. And unlike the other first few days, you're going to go ahead and leave them outside overnight if there's no really cold weather or there's a chance of a freeze or something happening. Then you don't want to leave them out for that. But by then, you can go ahead and leave them out. And this is just kind of a rough guide. You don't need to follow it to the T, but this is basically just what I've been using. And it seems to work. But that way you're protecting them and you're giving them a smooth transition. You're toughening them up. And I think that's going to be, you'll have a lot more success keeping the transplants that you've cared for and started from seed.